Peace, everybody. Welcome to Community Radio. I'm your host, Kim, and we're back. Today is Tuesday. And let's go over some new business before we get started today. We do have our new Phase 1 challenge that is in effect. We started on Sunday, so we are on the first lesson in the class. And if you would like to be a part of the challenge, you can go to seduluhouse.com to sign up. You do have to be enrolled in Phase 1 to participate. So not the Orisha class, but Phase 1 of the new spiritual training. The challenge was designed to help you all move along a little bit quicker in the class so that in June, when we have the retreat, we'll be able to kind of celebrate that and meet everybody and get to finally step away from the mic and Facebook and all the social media avatars and finally get to meet each other. We're still deciding on where to have the retreat. So if you go to ournewlifeglobal.org, there's a poll going on right now on where you would like to have it. So the choices that we have there are Charlotte, the Charlotte area, or New Orleans, or you can suggest a place. So we definitely would appreciate your vote in that so we can kind of get a good poll of where everybody would like to meet up. Again, that is for the retreat that is in June. Let's see what else is going on. Oh, be sure to check your emails and make sure that you don't have us blocked because we're sending out information quite frequently concerning the challenge. So there are going to be testimonials, videos. We share different comments about everyone's progress in the individual individual modules, and lots more. So make sure you don't have us blocked so that you can get that information. If you're having any trouble, just send us an email at questions@anunation.org, and we'll see if we can get it straightened out. Let's see, what else is on the agenda? Also, you can still go to seduluhouse.com for all the classes, not just Phase 1. There are individual classes that I facilitate on different spiritual concepts as well. So today, so that's that. We can go ahead and move on to the topic. I really kind of wanted to make today just a Q&A day for those of you who have questions or may just have comments they would like to share or testimonials they like to share about previous shows or anything that you may be going through. If you need advice on something or whatever, today's a good day to ask. Let's see. Also, I wanted to kind of just to get the ball rolling here to kind of discuss something that's been in the news quite recently, and that is these immigration laws, or the immigration ban rather. And a lot of people are pretty heated over this. As you all know, Trump has signed this petition or signed, hope that's not loud, has signed into law an immigration ban on people traveling from certain countries. And the list of those countries are Iraq, Iran, Syria, Yemen, Sudan, Somalia, and Libya. So I think there's a 90-day ban on coming into the country if you are from those countries. And they're trying to, while you're, being detained or waiting, they are doing background checks on, to see whether you are considered a threat or not. And so, I don't know, I found this pretty interesting because you have a lot of people really upset about this. And, this was one of the promises Trump made before he was voted into office. So I just kind of wanted to know what you all think about it. This country is made up of a lot of immigrants. So they have families abroad that, kind of travel back and forth. But, so on one hand, I think it's a bit drastic because this country is made up of immigrants. And I really think that, on on the other hand, that this is something that kind of makes a little sense. um, if you are a country that we have problems with or that we are at war with, um, to have people coming back and forth into the country, I can understand why he may see that as a form of protection, because most of the time, like, Homeland Security has not been very effective in some of the things that have happened in this country so far. So I know you have different agencies and things working separately. How, I don't know how the information passes between each agency, but it can be confusing at times. And so I even had to look at this from a situation of just something as a personal situation. Like, if I have, or if my family or myself personally has beef with another family or another person, would I be so accepting of someone coming into my family from that family? And of course you wouldn't, because you feel like that particular person or that family may have an agenda. So I kind of can see both sides of the situation, and I think you said it's like a 5-year ban. So I guess we will see what happens. You had some people saying that this is unconstitutional, and then I think it came back that he can legally do this. So I just kind of wanted to hear your opinions on that, as well as any other comments or questions you may have today. Feel free to call in. Just press the number 1 if you'd like to speak. And the number is 515-605-9862. All right, so I'm going to go to a quick commercial, and I'll be right back. Have you ever noticed that we use candles a lot now? We use them not just for their light, but to celebrate birthdays, weddings, and many other occasions. Well, why is that? Even in magic, we assume that the ritual hasn't begun until we light a candle. Did you know that in most African spiritual traditions, candles weren't even used? But nowadays, we make sure we incorporate them on our shrines and altars. So what exactly does the candle bring to the ritual or ceremony? Which part of the candle is more important? Or does it even matter what color the candle is? Many of us haven't really given much thought to this, but in Sadulu House's class-based webinar, Candle Magic, I discuss these questions and more. To sign up for this class, go to saduluhouse.com/store. Sadulu House Spiritual Center would like to invite you to join our learning community by encouraging you to sign up for our monthly webinars. Our webinars offer live interactive instruction designed to help empower you in your spiritual evolution and ritual work. The webinars we provide are purposed to help you dive deeper into the concepts and calculations of the Chief Jegna of Anu Nation, Heru Yuya Asan Anu, through the decoding and exploration of sound, symbol, ancient and contemporary texts, and various other tools used to invoke a state of highest awareness. We are able to abandon the constrictions of dead thought to travel to higher states of awareness, which is our rightful designation. To view our list of webinars, go to saduluhouse.com/events. Topics for 2016 include meditation, spiritual cleansing, astral projection, chakras, crystals, water magic, candle magic, the third eye, animal totems, dreams, and sex magic. Remember, go to saduluhouse.com/events to register. All right, welcome back to Community Radio. Again, I'm Kim, your host, and we are back live today. I forgot to mention earlier that we have extended the show, of course, to air daily, and I wanted to give you those hours. On Monday and Fridays, we'll be airing from 7 to 9 a.m. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, from 1 to 3 p.m. Eastern. And on Wednesday, we are coming at you between 9 and 11 p.m. So that'll give you a chance for those of you who listen from the archives to maybe catch one of the other shows. If you'd like to come in and comment or speak, we have had a few people to do just that, because during these hours, most people may be at work or just listening or sneaking a listen while they're at work. So hopefully you'll be able to catch at least one of the shows once a strong. Also, I wanted to remind you all that if you wanted to be a part of the women's call or the men's call, to go to anewlifeglobal.org to register. You have to at least be a part of the ministry. You don't necessarily have to be in the class, but you do have to at least be a registered member of the ministry. Okay? So today, before the break, I was just talking about this immigration ban that has gone into effect, and was just thinking about it and trying to get you all's opinion on what you think about it, or do you have any family that may be affected from it, and what do you think about it? We are a country of immigrants, and to think that we have so many families here that won't be able to travel back and forth is really disheartening for some. On the other hand, I think Donald Trump has kind of sees this as protection from different terrorist attacks. I've even heard some people say that this ban is almost a bit antagonizing. It kind of makes those countries a bit more upset with us about the relationship that we have with them. So they kind of see it as a threat, they feel that we don't have any problems between each other. It feels like an attack on them. So I don't know. What do you all think about it? You can press the number 1. Again, this is Q&A day. If you have any questions about the classes, about any of the shows, about any comments you'd like to make, anything that you may be going through, the lines are open. The number to call is 515-605-9862. And let me see who's on hold. I think I hear, is that you, Brother Anwar? Okay, I thought I heard somebody trying to get in. We had some Blog Talk issues earlier today.
I'm here on mute. I'm here on mute.
Oh, okay. Oh, I thought I heard you kind of shuffling around.
Yeah, I was hoping I wasn't on mute. I was hoping I was on mute. Okay. Cool.
Oh, okay. Okay. What do you think about this ban, Anwar? Or have you even given it much thought?
Oh, I've given it a lot of thought. My family lives out of the country in Suriname, and in Holland, but the states, the countries that are being affected are not inside of that list, or my country is not inside of that list. I think it's bigoted. I think it's hypocritical. I think it's completely against America and what they've done throughout the years. So I'm really kind of upset about it, honestly, because I'm not upset about it. Let me be clear. I'm not surprised by it either. Also, I just think it's bigoted. I understand what they're trying to do, but they created a war, so how are they trying to defend from it now after they already created it? So I don't know. I don't really want to get too deep inside of it. I don't agree with it, but I'll be here. I'll tap in if I hear somebody's opinion that I can comment on. But man.
It is.
I think it's antagonistic. I think the whole process, the whole concept of what they're doing is antagonistic. And,
how so?
Because what they're doing, once again, this American first concept is to put America first. That's what what Trump's trying to do. Understood that America first means that, first off, it was built off slavery and off the backs of other people. It wasn't built off the people that came over here. It wasn't until they started mingling amongst us and taking over our land that they built America. So now, and I agree with what the lady, the African AU leader, stated about America, about how could you come and take slaves from Africa and then now not allow anybody to come into the country, or limit the culture, the thing. I agree with that because you guys, come on, let's be real. Let's be real here. The whole country's been based off immigrant people from out of this land building this land. It's not like the native Indians sat here and said, "Let me build this New York City for you. Let me build this this city over here for you." They didn't do that. And if anything, they got exterminated hardly throughout the whole state. So come on. Anyway.
Do you think it's like a mad dash for security for the right wing? I remember watching this interview that Mos Def and Cornel West did on Bill Maher once. This was some years ago. This is when George Bush was in office, and Mos Def was stating that for the most part, a lot of people in America, especially African Americans and other immigrant groups, had no fear of terrorism or terrorist attacks. He was like, I don't feel any fear behind that. He was like, I'm a black man in America. I know what danger is. He was like, every time I leave my house, he's like, I'm afraid of the terrorists in this country, not something that's outside. He was like, it's like a boogeyman theory. But you have those members who are, like we were saying, what they call it, the right wing, or, of a certain group, like they are completely terrified. You have some groups of people, like they think, ever since the towers were bombed or whatever, they feel like there is like an immediate threat and attack all the time. They're completely terrified. So I don't know. I feel like, do you think that this is mostly coming from a particular group? Or do you have any fear of ISIS or anything else, when it comes to situations like this?
No. No. I definitely agree with Mos Def and all that. Since a youth, I didn't get into a fight with a person that looked similar to me, brown skin, brown eyes, brown hair, until I was out of my neighborhood. The fights I used to get into was with racist white people growing up my whole life until I moved out my house and moved into a place where there was more melanated people in, and that was the first time I ever got into a fight like that. And then from that point, I never got to fight with nobody else after that. So it's because I'm used to seeing racism as a child that I see that the only enemy I ever had was somebody that was racist, a white person that was racist in particular. So that was my experience growing up. I have never seen Osama bin Laden come up into the area that I'm at and bomb the hell out of me or shoot the hell out of my kids. I've never experienced that. I've never experienced that type of terrorism, and most people haven't either. And the only reason why they relate to it, and now I'm going to say this with empathy, because a lot of people lost their lives on this day, but on 9/11, that's the only reason why people worry about that now.
Right.
Because that was a big media promoted situation that happened. And they call it a terrorist attack. Yeah, it was a terrorist attack, but I don't think it's by the people that we
accused.
That we're accusing of. Especially since it took a nation's army to go across seas and slaughter thousands of people for 3,000 to 4,000. So I don't know if the even-handedness or the balancing act was correct on that. So, but that's just my opinion. Once again, that's my opinion.
Yeah, I think it is pretty. It's that fear or whatever is really coming from one side, and then it's also that theory of that people, I forget what they call it, but it's create a problem and then slip in and provide the solution. So it's a fear tactic to kind of get people all up in arms and afraid, so that they can kind of slip in and sign all these laws into effect that that they originally wanted to do. So something such as like wiretapping and people giving up certain freedoms that are related to their privacy, people wouldn't willingly do that, but if you create a problem where everybody's fearful and afraid, then of course you're going to want to be protected. You feel some type of threat. But I'm kind of with you on that. It's like I really don't have a fear of certain groups bombing certain things or whatever. Most of the attacks that we've had, or what I consider terrorist attacks, have come from within the country, such as the Dylan Ruth situation, the Unabomber, the guy that shot up the movie theater in Colorado, with the orange hair or whatever. And, different people like that. I was watching a clip the other day where they were trying to promote just this idea, where they were saying something similar. And they were naming a lot of famous people, famous and infamous, by the way. And they were saying, just stopping people on the street and asking them, do you think they are an immigrant or are they American? And so they'd say, flash a picture of like Ted Bundy or something. They like American. And then they flash a picture of someone else who was actually an immigrant, people who have done some good. And it seems like most of the people that have made huge contributions to this country are immigrants. The other people that they flashed pictures of, which were what I would consider to be a terrorist or someone that has committed a terrorist act, were all so-called American people. So to have this fear of something that's outside trying to get us all the time and not really looking at what's going on within the country to kind of eradicate that first is, to me, a bit hypocritical. As you said earlier, you still have groups like the KKK and, people, these white supremacist groups that are constantly, a threat to a lot of people. So I don't know. Like I said, I understand, I think, what he's trying to do. But on the other hand, again, this country was built by immigrants, and we continue to benefit from some of the genius of immigrant people. So I don't know. This is, like I said, this is supposed to be, I think, a 5-year ban. So, we'll see how this goes. I don't know. What do you all think? Just press number 1 if you'd like to comment. Again, the number is 515-605-9862. All right. And so let's see what else. In other topics, another thing I was thinking about recently was family karma, or just karma and reincarnation. And I thought about this in relationship to families and just dealing with other people or trying to create families, and how sometimes your karma, when you even have sex with someone or you have a close relationship with someone, how their karma, how you can sometimes suffer from their karma as well. And sometimes, like even in the reincarnation process, you may be drawn to or attracted to or whatever someone that you had a lot of past life residue, still that had some type of past life connection to this person. And maybe the relationship that you have with them in this life is kind of trying to work out whatever past karma that you had. And so I was reading something, and there was a priest who was speaking on this topic. And he was saying how one couple that he counseled, like they were having just tons of marital problems. And he even used himself as an example because his parents kind of went through the same thing. They were having, it was just a very tumultuous relationship. And he found out later that the reason why this relationship suffered so much turmoil is because in a past life, these two people actually were at war with each other, and one of his parents had killed the other one. And so through the process of reincarnation, they kind of found each other again. And so in this current life, they could not work out their differences. Like he was saying that his father was really cruel to his mother, and he just couldn't understand why. And she couldn't understand why. And so the relationship ended in divorce. But after he grew up, this is something that he found out, that they had a lot of bad past life karma. And the same thing can go. There was a case study that he did where a lady, she was like just all of a sudden just kind of thrust into this severe depression. I think she was about 17, I think it was. And her family, everybody just couldn't figure out why this person who was seemingly like a happy person for most of her life just all of a sudden was so depressed. And so again, after he took the case and started to do a little digging, he found out that her, in a past life, she was like her family and another family were at odds with each other, and the family that her family was at war with, she fell in love with someone in that family, and they didn't get a chance to, I guess, marry or whatever, and they kind of held the relationship in secret. And so as a result, the man she was in love with was killed, and she was very depressed in that life. Well, fast forward to the current life, this person that she was in love with or whatever actually reincarnated as her brother. And so when she hit the age of 17, which was how old she was in a previous life when the man that she was in love with died, she was just thrown into this just horrible depression. And so they figured out, oh, this is why. So after they did some, family tree research and everything, they went back to the country to try to find the place where the place where everything happened, and they visited some shrines there, because there was actually a shrine erected for that person that she was kind of longing for. And so they were able to do some spiritual work there to kind of exercise some of that karma and get it, just kind of get it up off of her. And she finally came out of this depression. So I say that because in a recent show, we were just talking about that, about some of the issues we may have with our own families. And just thinking about, what our soul purpose is and why we come into the world through the families that we do, it is to possibly, you possibly knew just about every member in your family in a previous life. And you may not know what type of relationship that was, but whatever your karma was or whatever it was you're supposed to work out, your soul put you in this position to where these are the people that you got to work it out with. And so in that show, we were just speaking, I think Sister Michelle was speaking on an exercise that I had mentioned about listing the 5 most influential men and women in your life. And you couldn't exclude your father and your mother on either list. And you had to list the good stuff and the bad stuff. And usually the things that cause us the most anxiety or the most, emotion were the things that we were supposed to work on. So it's interesting, when we talk about past lives, that certain things like this can just kind of tie over it from lifetime to lifetime. And you never really know why these things are happening. And so it made me think about, again, the first exercise in the training, which is the one that we're on in this challenge, where you are trying to understand the difference between mind, body, soul, and spirit. And so that one, along with the next exercise of trying to understand your past life karma, are so critical and so crucial to your soul's mission, and just, getting past some of the issues you may have in this current life. So again, if you're not registered, I definitely encourage you to sign up. And mainly because these are some things that, these are the first 2 exercises of the class, which is so important. I can't stress enough how you can go to other teachers or find other systems or gurus or whatever you want to call them. And this is something that you may not get off the bat like that, especially for $99. You're not going to get that. It's usually much more expensive, or you may have to, come back for several sessions before that type of information is revealed to you. But here, you get it in the first 2 lessons. So those are 2 really critical, important lessons that I think that could help you heal a lot of the things that may be going on in your life. I keep hearing clicks. Is someone trying to speak? Okay. So I guess I don't know what that is. But there are different types of karma that we can, that we may be suffering from. You have like marital and family karma, that maybe you may be suffering from as a result of, past lives. And then you have what they call, what did he call it? And we talked about this before, the type of karma of a particular place. Like we were saying how, many people don't investigate the land that they live on, where they may decide to move to. You have that type of karma. So it's like you may be moving into a place that has been ravaged by wars for so many years. And even in thinking about this whole immigration thing, I think about countries like Iran and Iraq, a lot of the places in the Middle East where wars and things have been going on for so many years, so long. Just think about all the karma that is, attached to not even just the land, but the families of the people that are born to those areas, all the things that they're carrying around with them. So that's what it is, geographical karma. And you have global karma as well. And so, everything, it's like everything affects us from, the larger point of view all the way down to a smaller point of view, which would be personal. So you have, just global karma, the karma of the planet. And then it goes down to, national karma, which is your country itself. And even, again, with the whole immigration thing, we have to think about the karma of being here in the United States. Brother Anwar was saying that this is a country that is built on slavery. And so when you think about just all the murders and all the wars that have taken place on U.S. soil, that energy just kind of pervades all of America, and being born here in this country also affects you on a personal level. So, it's like this little trickle down kind of thing where you have so many different layers of issues to deal with before it even gets down to, you just personally. So I think it's important that we try to figure out or do the work necessary to figure out what type of karma we may be dealing with, what type of karma our families may be dealing with, because that's another layer before it gets to your personal situation. What type of karma does your family have? Chief has spoken about this before, how each family has a particular orisha that resides over it, or just energy that resides over the family. And the same can be said for the karma, which is why it's important to, research your family tree and try to figure out, who did what, or what was the family known for. And I know it's difficult for some of us to do because we can't go back past maybe 2 or 3 generations. We don't have the information, but with services like Ancestry.com and all these other services that kind of allow you to trace your history, I think it's something that's really, really, really important to look into. And then we just have, we have the internet, so you can really trace some things back. As for African Americans, we don't even know our real last names. So by the time you get back to, I guess maybe 2 or 3 generations and you're tracing that particular last name, you're going to be traced back to, your slave owner's name. But you are because you carry that name, you are kind of lumped into the karma of that family, you know. So it's like, you know, then you have to kind of look at, you know, the particular karma of the family whose name that you carry, and all the intermingling and everything that went on between your, I guess, African bloodline and that particular family. Because as we know, there was a lot of mixing going on then, a lot of rapes and things of that nature going on, and children were born. So then you have these two opposing bloodlines running through your veins, or coursing through your veins, so to speak. So you have these ancestors who may not necessarily have gotten along, and that can be a blockage or something that is affecting your karma as well. So anyway, I just kind of wanted to speak on that for a little bit. Again, we don't have to stay on this particular topic. It was just something that I was thinking about. And the floor is open for questions, comments, or anything that you that may be on your mind. Just press the number 1. Do I hear some?
That's me. I'm here.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I was reviewing a show that Chief did a while ago. 2 of them, actually.
Mm-hmm.
It was on Thunderground Thursday, and one was called Plateaus and Limitations, I believe, and the other one was Restoration.
Mm-hmm.
And just to add on to what you're saying about certain blockages that we have, what I did last night is I was in a vibration of feeling stuck a little bit. Usually when my money, when I'm low in currency, it kind of throws me into that energy. And it took me like pretty much a couple hours to listen to the show, and then kind of going to bed and waking up. Had some crazy dreams too. I don't really remember, but I know they were pretty interesting. But to wake up and to realize that a lot of the things I'm looking to go to step 3, but I'm forgetting step 2 is embracing your failures. Mm-hmm. You know, and sometimes when you find those blockages, especially when we're talking about karmic blockages, and you find out, oh man, I've been trying to do this all this time, and I got this karmic blockage, and you just seen that you kept on trying to do what you were doing for the longest time, and you kept on failing, and it took you to fail so many times for you to find out that it is a karmic issue going on too.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But
Definitely.
those failures that you did were the lessons that you had to learn to move to that step 3 also. So yeah, I just wanted to add that into it. And restoration, I kind of fell asleep right in the middle of restoration, and means to restore. So we're restoring back to where we need to be. And when you're trying to break that limitation or plateau, that failure part shows you what needs to be fixed. And if you continue to try to do the right thing correctly or wrongly, do the right thing wrongly multiple times, eventually you're going to figure out a way to get that right thing done. So.
Yeah. Let me go to another caller really quick on Ward. Just a second. 662.
Hi, Sister Kim. Hi, Brother Anwar.
Peace, Michelle. How are you?
I'm good. Now, I was wondering, when you were mentioning tracing your family history, are we? What do you think we have the most connection to, our maternal line or our paternal line?
I think Chief talked about this in a previous show, and he was speaking on mitochondria. And I think it was through the maternal line, if I'm not mistaken. Was the way to go. But in me trying to figure out my family history, I have looked on both sides, but I think he was speaking on mitochondria and tracing, the feminine line.
Because
have you?
I actually trace on both sides. I'm kind of stuck on my maternal line because I don't have that many people doing the research to help me along the way as I do on my paternal line. But it's just kind of weird because on my maternal line, like, it seems like my brother, he's following the maternal line. He has a lot of children and things along that line. Me, I only have one child, and that's mostly been done on the paternal side of my family.
Okay. Yeah, so I guess when you have a situation like that, you know, you try to just go back as far as you can, you know. And if your paternal side is all you have, I think you can still get a lot done with that information, you know.
Yeah, I've done research on both. I can go pretty far back, but I can go way back on my paternal line.
Oh,
I'm
that's
kind of
awesome.
stuck on I'm kind of stuck on my maternal line. On my maternal line because my my mother's grandmother. I stopped right there.
What have you found out
for me
about
to get
your
information?
Huh? What have you found out about your father's side? Have you found like a common profession or or anything?
Actually, yeah, it's like three different lines. I got Thorntons, Moores, and Adams. The Thorntons, I found out my great-great-grandmother, she was a midwife, so I was thinking that's why I'm into nursing. My grandmother, my father's mother, she was a teacher, but she also did housework for some political people. Her mother did housework for political people. I don't know what my great-great-grandmother did because she passed in 1944, and I can't find anything on her. But on my father's side, I can go way back to this Abraham Adams guy that was born in 1816 and owned land in Mississippi. Yeah, he owned land in Mississippi, and he was on the 1860 or 1870 census, which is like unheard of for people to own land. Black people, I'm gonna say, in that day and age. So.
Yeah, that's amazing that you were able to go back that far. You said it was hard to get. Where did you find most of your information? Through the census or through a service?
Through the census. I was when I was before I went to nursing school. After I had my son, I was just at a loss. I wasn't doing anything, just waiting to see what I was gonna do. I had 3 months that I just lived in the library.
Okay.
And and they have the things that you can just go in and pull up the microfiche and look. And so I kept looking and looking and looking and looking, and so I found all this information. I wasn't able to do much with it until the last 2 years. I've been able to connect a lot of dots, and this was my son was born in '97, so.
Wow.
I know.
Yeah,
I guess timing is everything.
Awesome. Yeah, it is. That is amazing that you could trace it back that far, especially back to someone who owned land in that time. I wonder what happened to the land throughout the years. Have you figured that out?
Well, they passed the land along. They all passed the land along, and then when my grandfather, I guess he was getting old. I actually got a paper where his mother deeded the land to him, and I guess it was split up amongst the children. Is what happened, and so she deeded some to him, and he offered my father some, and my father was like, "No, I don't want any." So, yeah. It's been sold out. It's not owned by. I don't think there's anybody in our bloodline that owns that land right now.
Oh, wow. So that's completely lost.
It's gone.
We were just talking about that the other day, too. Yeah.
Yeah, well, in Mississippi, people tend to move away from Mississippi because of some of the backwards crap that goes on here. So when they leave, some of these people sold the land for $300 an acre, and it was crazy. Yep. They sold it for cheap.
Very cheap,
because they had no desire to come back this way.
Right. The children grow up and they want to move into the city or whatever. We were talking about that the other day. I've even experienced an issue as far as land goes where, certain families just didn't keep very good records of what was going on. And you had some people who would just, were squatters basically. They just came in and just took it over. and created their own deeds or whatever. I know personally that this has happened. There's a piece of land that we own where this is the case, where somebody just kind of came in and just kind of took it. And, now they're finally finding the paperwork showing that no one gave them authorization to buy that piece of land because it was still owned by, it was still in possession of, no one ever sold it in the family. Just through and of course this happens all the time. People just kind of just barge in a little bit, and take over. Yeah, so if you don't have
back in those times, sometimes back in those times they would trick the people out there land. Like say if somebody needed a vehicle or something, and then they ended up signing their land over because they weren't able to read,
right,
for a vehicle or something like that.
Or for loans, or whatever, for farm equipment and things like that. Definitely. There's a show that's on that I think everybody should check out. It's called Queen Sugar, and it takes place.
Oh yes, I watched it.
And that's what their family was going through, trying to get their father's land back from people who just kind of barged in and just kind of took over too. And that's the situation they're dealing with. Some siblings want to sell it, some people don't. And the ones that want to keep it are the ones that really can't afford to keep it, but they're just trying to convince those that have the money, like, no, we can't sell this. And so they're in the process of trying to decide, okay, should I move back so we can, try to work this out or what, So that happens pretty frequently. Let me go to another caller real quick. This is 904.
Okay.
Greetings.
Hello, peace, family. How y'all doing?
We're well. How are you? Or I'm well. Let me say that. So everybody speaks for themselves.
Right. Yeah, I'm doing all right as well. I just wanted to kind of speak on the Trump, thing that's going on right now, man. I really, think that they're setting up. And this is just my conjecture, It's not saying that this is true or false or anything. I'm just, from what I can see, I think that they trying to set things up for the grand finale, which is martial law. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And I really do, believe that. I don't know about Iraq and Iran, maybe, they may be terrorist countries, but y'all had already touched on this, that, the Americans, the white Americans are the biggest, terrorists in the world.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But then they call out everybody else's, terrorism and punish everybody else's, terrorism, but no one is really dealing with their terrorism. You know what I'm saying? And it's unfortunate, but I just feel like, they trying to oust out, those African countries, because in the past, you look at it, those countries, Sudan, Libya, and
Somalia.
Somalia, I think they have some history where, they tried to help, like Black Americans. You know what I'm saying? I know more of my Gaddafi, is from Libya. And he was trying to, come up with an economic system that would really bankrupt America. You know what I'm saying? Like, it would bankrupt the whole, monetary value system and everything. So, it's people, that's reached out, that's trying to thwart what, they got going on, and I think that they're using propaganda and the media and everything like that to try to make the Americans think that all these people are wrong and terrorists, and, maybe, like ISIS or whatever, they're just trying to fight for their right to live or their right to have their own oil or, whatnot, and America is trying to take whatever they have right or have deemed rightfully theirs. But America is saying, no, these are evil people. They're terrorists. They're, you know what I'm saying? To make America, to make the American citizens justify, why they, going through this type of tyranny, why they're putting this, type of tyranny on all these foreign countries or whatnot. So, that's just, my conjecture. And I think that, they trying to really just crack down on, all the people that was trying to help, like Americans, like the black Americans mainly, that was from Africa. That's why they banned those people. And then I think they're going to really try to do martial law in Chicago. You know what I'm saying? And try to really...
Yeah, I read something about that actually. That Trump did address that. He was saying that if they don't get it together quick, he's already saying that he's going to send in federal troops.
Right. You know what I'm saying? And they can do it. Man, all that stuff as far as like the killings and stuff like that in Chicago, all that stuff can be done away with overnight. If you really, it's not a real problem. It's just economic deprivation. I mean, from what I hear, Chicago is like one of the most segregated cities in America. You know what I'm saying? And so if you got all these black people in this small part of, the town, and they don't have any means to feed their families and, feed, do what's supposed to be done, then of course you're going to have all this violence and, stuff and carrying on like that in every, neighborhood. That's human nature, really.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, to be honest. And so they're going to try to put that down in Chicago. And then I think, they're going to try to do that martial law and everything. But all these other groups, like these white Muslims and, everybody, they trying to get us to march and rally with them and stuff, man. I think we shouldn't do it. We should just chill. We should just try to work on how we're going to, militarily, protect ourselves, our children, and our women, for when it really, go down. So I believe that Trump is, what I'm saying, trying to get it to head that way. Oh.
Yeah,
and
that's an
just,
interesting thing.
My conjecture on it. Yeah, so not saying that it's right, wrong, good, or bad, or if it's true, or false, but based on what I'm seeing, like on what's going on in the world, man, it's terrible.
Yeah. Well, how do you look at it, considering that he's taking such a hard stand on immigration and the wall that's being built and everything? His wife's an immigrant. It's just like, huh?
Yeah,
a lot of people,
it's crazy, man. I think, okay, we do know that we are in a war. You know what I'm saying? And, reading, The Art of War, that book, war is deception. War is deception. You know what I'm saying? And that's the major part of war, and that's one of the major tactics of white supremacy. They always trying to deceive, deception, mislead, deception. So, even though he's talking about, him being against immigrants and, his wife is an immigrant, like you said, it's like, such an oxymoron. It's ridiculous. Like, who are you fooling?
Yeah.
Well, they fooling the masses because, in a massive scale, we all sleep. We just following whatever they say and think that, it's right because they said so. So,
Yeah, and we're suffering, again, just to tie it back to the whole karma piece. It's like, when we think about just national karma or geographical karma, like we kind of fall under the umbrella of the karma of the people that run the country, as well, before, like I said, before it even trickles down to just your own personal life, there is like national karma that we have to deal with. And because we are in this country, the ruling elite or whatever, the decisions that they make and the policies that they pass, still affect you as well, because like you said, we have terrorists in this country. And,
right.
That's something that has to be considered as well when we just think about what our sole purpose is. Once we get past all the personal stuff, it even becomes larger, because now we can step back and look at our families and figure out, okay, what did our families do? What is my familial karma, in the role of, just even the state or the town that they were from, like what were they known for? And what kind of things were they involved in or whatever that may have some type of effect on each individual family member. And so that's why I think, slavery did so much more than just, it was so much more than just the actual brutal physical act. It just kind of really just messed our blood, just kind of tore apart the bloodline and that whole being able to trace things back and trying to figure out what your name is and just your family history. Like, even when you go to a doctor, they ask you about your family history, so when you don't even have that, because I remember a show once where Chief was saying, like, in lots of parts of Africa, they can trace their families back at least like 8 generations, and we can't necessarily do that here. So, we lost so much more than just, we suffered so much more than just the brutal act of slavery. It's like we don't even have the information just on our families alone. And then you have this whole idea, too, of racial karma, just of a particular group. And so, again, it's like especially when the races, when things mix and you have, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this, just think about all the karma and the turmoil or whatever that you may have going on with you and in your family just based on that. So I don't know. These are some things that, I think about from time to time to just wonder, how these things really affect us when we're dealing with just our own personal karma. It's like it takes us so long to sometimes even just work that out, not to mention all of the other stuff. We got to consider where we live, the neighborhood, the land that we build a house on, the country that we live in and the continent that we live on. All these things carries a type of energy or spirit that affects us as well. That kind of trickles down. Yeah. So again, let's see. We're under the hour, actually. So if you have a comment or question, make sure you press the number 1. Again, just dial 515-605-9862, and I'll make sure I get you in. We're just kind of vibing a little bit on karma. And I know, Sister Michelle, you said that you found out some information about your particular family. Did you find out anything else besides, aside from professions, did you find out anything maybe about health or, like a common health issue or anything else?
Not common. It really varies. Like the Adams, they generally live to late 70s, early 80s. My grandmother, my father's mother, she died in her 50s, but she never would go to a doctor. My father, he's 71 now, so my mother's mother, she lived to her 80s. She had Alzheimer's. Her oldest daughter has Alzheimer's, but I kind of think Aunt Mary brought that on herself, because when my grandmother got it, she was like, well, y'all just get ready. We all going to go crazy. And I'm thinking, if you don't have that thought, you're not going to get that. So I kind of think she kind of, how you talk stuff on yourself. Because everybody doesn't have it. I have one aunt that had Alzheimer's and another, two. Aunt Mary and my Aunt Ella had Alzheimer's. My Aunt Belle has dementia, but she used to fight a lot, and she used to fight men. So I think she got hit in the head a couple of times.
Oh, okay. Wow.
But, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's
nothing
so important.
Like no major heart problems other than my grandmother. But I think if she had went to the doctor, she wouldn't have died so early.
Yeah. Yeah, well, back in those days, we didn't do that. you go find you some herbs or whatever it is you need to work through it, They ain't necessarily
but she didn't even go get the herbs. She didn't go get the herbs. She just sat up there and swelled up. I think it was congestive heart failure because she just kept retaining fluid and couldn't get it off of her.
Yeah.
But she passed in 73.
That's interesting because, recently there have been a lot of deaths surrounding heart issues, and every time, young people, old people, and I'm thinking about, just heart troubles and heart disease in general. And they say that, especially among the Black population, that this is a big problem, heart issues. And it makes me think, when we think about the heart chakra and what it's responsible for, it's like I can see just the pain and the hurt and the emotional pain and hurt of just, we talk about racial karma of a group where everybody is having these issues with heart trouble, dying from heart, like you were saying, heart failures and everything else. It's like you have so many people who are just hurting, emotionally, where now your heart just attacks you. I think that's something serious that we have to kind of look at, just, within ourselves and, as a group too. It's like, why are we having so many issues of the heart? Is it because we lack love, or like we're just not connected, in that way anymore, or are we starving for it, or just what is it? It's like there's just been. I've personally dealt with family members recently who have transitioned just dealing with heart issues, and had no history necessarily of any type of heart problems.
I think it is that we lack love. We don't know how to show love. We don't communicate effectively anymore. It's like we're all against each other sometimes. Instead of trying to come together and work, and you push this one and I'll push this one, and we're going to all get to where we need to go to take care of whatever we need to take care of to fund our communities and to work through our communities. We don't do that. It's like we think everybody's a threat.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
it's difficult.
It's very difficult. I don't know. Like I said, I've just been thinking about that a lot because I've had some friends and family members who passed this past year, just dealing with heart issues, and young people. We're talking like in their 30s, dealing with heart problems, and it makes me really, really, really sad just to know that some people feel there's some people that a lot of people are so lonely. Even when I'm thinking about these shows, and we all talk about community, and everybody's expressing how thankful they are for shows like this, or the men's group or the women's group or whatever. And it's just because you just don't realize how lonely people really are, or just how much they're starving for, just for some type of support or just love from somebody. It's just really sad. It's really sad.
When you said that did make me think about my grandmother, because she had some issues with my grandfather, and I don't think she ever really, really trusted anybody after that. She pretty much was a recluse. She didn't go anywhere. My father had to go get everything she needed, underwear, everything. So that was a heart chakra thing. It really was.
Yeah. And that, and even just thinking about karma, like we have so much stuff stored just, when we talk about the different bodies we have, the astral body, the causal body, the physical body, And when we have these different chakras in our bodies, and of course, when we're talking about the heart chakra, we're talking about ma'at and balance and all of these things. And it's like, think about the karma that you may experience personally, through your family, through your racial identity, again, geographically, nationally, globally, just on your heart chakra. You know, even when the towers and everything were bombed, or anytime there's some type of attack, you know, even though we may not have physically been there to experience it, you know, just watching it on TV, or knowing somebody that may have suffered because of it, a family member, they may have lost a family member or something because of it. We become attached to it in some type. You know, we still kind of become attached to it in a way to where you are affected by it, even though you may not have been a part of it. But just the memory of it, or the exposure to the information about it, it does kind of weigh on you a bit. You know, just like the whole Dylann Roof church bombing thing. Like, you know, a lot of people felt that. You know what I mean? Even though we may not have been a family member of any of the people that were killed or anything. But all these things start to affect us. And I don't know, you know, there was a time when certain things weren't shown on television. Like if there was like a mass murder, or someone got shot or killed or something, like you didn't see that on television. You didn't see that on TV. They wouldn't show it. But now it's like we see brutality because, you know, everybody has cell phones and everything. There are cameras on every block to record things. So they actually show these things on television now. And I just wonder, you know, like, how does it affect you? How does seeing some of the things, especially with police brutality and everything, how does it affect you? You know, I know we like to say that, you know, it's a fear tactic and, you know, all these things, but some of that stuff still kind of subconsciously drops in a little bit. And it does kind of settle a little bit on your heart to where you are affected by it, you know? I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I don't know.
No. Hello?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes.
Oh, okay. You can hear me. I'm sorry. I didn't know if I was on mute or not. But no, it's not just you. It is, you know what I'm saying, affecting, you know, a lot of people and everything, man. And it's sad, but it's like, as far as the karma, you know, because we're getting the bad part of it, but it's like some of it, you know, we do have to take, you know, some type of responsibility for it. But for the most part, you know, it's not really our fault, because it's like, who taught us to live like this?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Who taught us to hate each other, you know, and love our enemies? You know, and who taught us to, you know, to actually, not really program us, you know, since we came out of the womb to be this way, you know. So the results is really just showing up, like the jig is up, you know, and it's hard for our people to get over that chip that's so deeply implanted, deeply rooted into our psyche, man, and it's taking a toll on us, man, for real. You know?
Yeah.
I feel for my people, man. I really do.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. It's hard to ignore that.
One thing I would like to say about that is, if the emotions is going to affect us, but where are we leading our emotions to? Are we taking it towards the person that conflicted this emotion, or are we taking that emotion and using it for our family and our community and building our community and fixing some of the problems that we had? I think that's the big thing that we don't do, is that as soon as something major happens, like the church shooting, first thing we're going to the community that's not helping us and talking about our story and expressing ourselves in this media and the social area that's not helping us fix the problem in the first place. So
Yeah.
we took that emotion, and actually invested it into like the community that the problem is in, and that would be a little bit better. That would be a better outcome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even
it's
with
like
that situation. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, we can do that, but it's like it's so many brain dead individuals. Like, we can't really come together as a whole because, okay, say for instance, like the marching. I mean, everybody know that marching don't really do anything to solve the problem. But it's like even with that, when we're trying to, you know what I'm saying, make a protest, so you still have, brainwashed Negroes, turning what we need to be serious about into a talent show, into a twerk session. You know what I'm saying? It's like they're not taking it serious. So it's like, how can you expect for another, for other groups of people to take you serious when, you say you want to, you want equality and all this stuff, but then you got people, dancing and bringing out their mics and radios, and they think they finna get a record deal from being seen on CNN somewhere. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. Like it's ridiculous. Like people don't even care no more.
Yeah. Yeah. But something you said about marches, just coming off this last march that the women had or whatever, or even thinking about like the first Million Man March. Even though it may not have the political fight or whatever behind it that many people may want to see, I think there's still something in everybody coming together for a common cause or whatever. Just everybody coming together for a certain cause, because I think that energy kind of pervades over all the people included, even if they are dead. They're still a part of that. There was a certain spirit over the first Million Man March, and there was potentially like a lot of healing that took place just in having all those men come together and to just talk, as well as the women, just coming together for a common issue, and everybody just being there to be able to embrace each other, to see each other, to hear each other's stories, to maybe, reach out to another person just to let them know, hey, I'm here, or, just to give them a hug, whatever it was. There's still an energy that kind of moved over the crowd, that kind of moved everybody, even though, everybody wasn't there with guns or anything ready to take over, but it was still very healing. So even with the whole church shooting, I thought it was interesting that right after it happened, all those people, who were families of the victims, were so quick to forgive this young boy who did the shooting. And everybody came together in the church and they were holding hands or whatever. I don't know. I just thought, I was like, is this the right way to heal from a situation like that? Because a lot of times when something like that happens, sometimes it may take a march of 1 million people or something like that just to be able to ease some of the pain in a person's heart. You know what I mean? To be able to get over it. I know that a lot of times we, when things fall apart, there is no damage control afterwards. Everybody's just kind of left with whatever emotion they're left with. There's no healing or anything that takes place afterwards. You just kind of just let time just pass and not do anything about it. So it just, even just thinking about this, these heart problems and heart issues, is how are we resolving any of that pain that people are feeling, even when we start to lose people to heart disease and heart troubles and heart attacks and congested hearts and enlarged hearts and everything like that. Like, even when they pass away, like, do we take the time to think about how that person ended up in that situation? Like, is there a lack of love in this family? Like, why did this happen to this person? Or how do we deal with the emotional grief or whatever that comes afterwards? So that it's not a family issue, so that the next person isn't dying from the same thing. That, I don't know, I just think about, and that even goes, let me let Anwar back in. Okay, I got you, Anwar. That even goes down to, like, when we just talk about generational diseases or whatever, diabetes or something may run in your family, but no one ever decides to say, hey, you know what, we just lost 3 or 4 people in our family to this disease. Why don't we change up our diet? So the same thing goes for, family karma. Like, we keep losing people to heart issues. What's the connection with the heart? And why is it so prevalent in this family? I don't know.
I think, Sister Kim, it's just lack of focus too, because we can have those meetings, like those family meetings, and like, why don't we just change up our diet if we're having, our family, like fall victim, to, heart disease, and, but it's always somebody in the family like, oh, I mean, we can, but shoot, Auntie Tanisha, she cooking up some cornbread and collard greens right now. I know I'm finna go and get me a plate. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, we can talk about it, but it's like, it's no conviction of focus to want to really, like, okay, like, yeah, it sounds good, you know what I'm saying? But it's it's just harder to do, It's hard to actually put in that type of work. Nobody really wants to do that collectively, because we have all kind of solutions for, helping, our group. I'm talking about the African American community. We have a lot of solutions on what we must do to help each other, but everybody's still asking the same questions and still marching like, that's what's gonna help. And the people in the dominant society, they know that. They know that, if we do whatever we want to do to these people, their end game is just to march and to have a little bit of attention shown to them, and everything will be okay. So just, don't do what you want to do. You can kill this black man, woman, or child, but as long as you just, get the news media out there and put some cameras out there and show them attention for about a couple of days, and then everything just goes back to, what it was. And, it's sad, we don't know how to fix, we don't know how to fix our heart chakra issue. And then on top of that, it's like, if we do come into the knowledge of how to fix it, how many people are going to actually do that,
Yeah, I know. I hear you. I really do. I hear you, because,
I don't want to sound disheartening. I don't want to sound disheartening, man. I mean well, but it's just the reality of it. Like, some people, are just not really going to make it, man. They're comfortable in their sleep,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't know, because, everybody also says that we're now in this time of awakening. Everybody is on some type of spiritual tip and, all this other kind of stuff too. So it's like, I don't know, we still just, when I think about it, it's like, okay, like Chief says, go form your own families or whatever. But you were still born into the family that you have, and now you have to go out and make your own family and be conscious of what you're putting together and the children that you're creating as well. So it's like, I don't know. It just still goes back to, I know we like have to fix our own personal karma, but there's so much more, even beyond just your own personal karma that has to be considered. And it's like, can one person, because most of us on this call or that are students or whatever, we are the weirdos of the family. We all have that in common. We're the ones that are just a little bit different from everybody else. So do you feel like it is kind of tasked to you to kind of take the responsibility to kind of maybe help or educate or whatever, to those family members? Or are you just like, well, I got mine, I'm going to go, whatever, just whatever, instead of telling, auntie such and such not to cook the greens until they just slide down your throat. To tell us, say, hey, why don't you steam these and add some tomatoes and onions and blah blah blah. Say this is a healthier way to cook it. Instead of with the fat and to the point where it's just slime by the time you get ready to eat it. You know what I mean? I don't know. I still feel like there's some type of responsibility that we hold, to our families before we can just chuck them. You know what I mean? Because you were born into that family. So that blood matters. When they say blood is thicker than water. Let me see. I see another hand up. We got about 30 minutes left, everybody. So if you have a comment, just press the number 1. This is 816. 816, greetings.
Greetings, Kim.
Peace.
Peace, this is Georgina.
Peace, Georgina. How are you?
I'm all right. How are you?
I'm well.
Good. I'm only calling in to, of course, get, the good stuff, and I'm chiming in to say I did it again, and I'm sorry.
What did you do?
I did it again yesterday when I got on the phone, and I was like rambling and talking, and I already knew she was trying to get ready to go, and then I'm talking, and I just was like, I did it again, like I'm not listening. So it's not funny, but I'm trying to make light of it and just right my wrongs and let you know I'm sorry for what I did yesterday.
It's not a problem. We know, I can hear in your voice like you have some trouble getting your thoughts out,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's not a problem.
Thank you.
Not a problem. All right.
This is Serena. Yeah, I have a question. It doesn't have anything to do with what we were talking about. It actually got something to do with the Grasping the Root of Divine Power book. Do you know any of the Orisha that's associated with the Capricorn?
Are you asking me to get an answer to your assignment? Yes, ma'am.
Because I was looking, we was looking, man, and we couldn't find, but I looked online to, figure it out. But it's a lot of Orishas, dealing with, that sign. So I was just trying to figure out, because we couldn't find it in the book.
Did you check the student forum?
No, ma'am, I did not. Oh, I'm sorry. I gotta check the student forum.
Yeah. Yeah.
I gotta check that out.
Okay. Yeah. Check that out. I think you'll find your answer. No problem.
Yes, ma'am.
Trying to cheat. Try to cheat to get some answers. Oh my goodness! You trying to make me
short? I thought it was a help, man. I thought
short
it was a help. The challenge.
Short you of your experience.
You ain't going down by yourself, brother. I got your back. I just sent him a text to ask you too, so I'll get inside of that.
Y'all gonna double team me, huh?
Yeah, we were working together. We were working together, and we couldn't figure out what Capricorn was, and we did some studying, and there's so many things going on. This is cool to get some direction here and there. But that's cool. We need to go on the forum. We'll go on the forum.
We'll go on the forum. Yeah, we'll do the forum.
I guarantee you'll find it. Because that question has already been answered in the forum, though.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
All right. Let me bring in another caller. This is 615. 615.
Greetings.
Greetings. Greetings.
How's everybody thinking?
I am well.
I'm well. I'm doing well too, brother.
Well, I was going to ask, because I didn't know it was in the form either. I don't know what a Capricorn is. Like,
bad students.
I was always curious what a Capricorn was. Like, what is it? A goat, fish, thing?
No, the Capricorn is the horse with the horn in the forehead, right? The flying horse with the horn. Hey, that's a Capricorn.
I'm gonna listen and let y'all work through it. I want to hear what's being said. Go ahead.
I think the Capricorn is the goat fish. It's half goat and half fish.
Half goat and half fish?
I think so.
I think that's what it is. Or a poke.
You said what now?
I said, is that a gish or a poke?
I don't know. What you call it? A poke? I don't know. It's a goat head with a fish body. So I would say a goat. I don't know. So, okay. A Capricorn is a... And look it up. Because I can never... Because when I go to the student forum, I never really actually saw nobody post that.
Yeah, it's there.
I had quit going to it, so I just have to take your...
But did you go through the post of the questions that were already there?
No, I don't remember. It might have been me doing it on the phone, but I just didn't really see nothing there. But so, like, once I didn't see nothing there, I was kind of like, well, maybe, I just got to figure. I took it as a sign of filling it out on my own. Okay. So, yeah, a Capricorn is a goat fish, a sea goat.
Okay.
So with it being a sea goat, it didn't say lake or river goat, so I would say that it would have something to do with the sea, and the Orishas that's dealing with the sea is Olokun and Yemoja. So the goat is one of the totems of Ogun, and now you have a goat and a fish together. So goats climb and fish swim. So I know water deals with motion, and goats deal with going to higher levels as well as being durable. So that's two completely opposite things, though. It's hard to put one of these opposite things like that.
I'm gonna have to check it out in the form.
You guys get the versatility of the Capricorn, just to give you a hint.
It's versatile. A mountain sea goat. How you gonna be a mountain in the sea? Like, that don't make no sense.
Oh boy.
Oh man.
It's an earth element. It's ruled by Saturn.
Yeah, it's an earth element, but I just find it, because I was trying to look for it in the grass to the root, and it's like we couldn't find it, So that's why I was like, this one must be a special.
Quick question. Quick question. What's on the earth? What can be found on the earth?
Animals.
What else?
Grass. When I see grass too. You can find mountains on the earth. Well, there's mountains in the water too, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, I'm thinking just
every element can be found on the earth.
Fire,
water, earth, air. Okay?
I was about to say that. I promised I was about to say that, but I didn't know if that was the right answer or not. I should have said it.
One of the things I relate Capricorn to is Baphomet. This is just something from my own point of view, because Baphomet represents humanity, Baphomet represents what we call the beast or whatever. Baphomet is the conciliation of all matter, material elements into one thing called a human being. And that's just what I know, and I just want to share that. You know, you could help you out a little bit, couldn't, whichever way.
Mm-hmm. So now remember when we said that when you sign up for the training, like you're not going to find all the answers in the training or in the book? So you would have to use a lot of the shows too to help you out?
Okay.
Does anybody remember that?
Yeah, that's why I was like, Steve had told us, like, you know, that's a certain way you can study. Like, when it comes to dealing with animal totems and symbols, first of all, look at what it means to you, because that's really the important thing, is what it means to you. The second thing is what the animal or thing does. So this is a goat mermaid. So when I think of goats, I think of Ogun. And then when I think of mermaids, I think of Olokun and Yemoja. So, in my opinion, I want to say it's Olokun because Olokun was the one who gave the earth what they call a trident, and it was used for agriculture. So, like when you have fish, you have that watery earth element, the deepness, because it keeps saying it's a sea animal, not a river animal. So you got the deep subconscious of the sea, and the goat is a farm animal. So like, if it's the Olokun, it's a representation of agriculture, working with the sea, the bounty of the sea. Your watery emotional understandings of subconscious concepts, like it's your brain.
Okay, so let me help y'all out a little bit.
Yeah, there you go, sister.
Remember, I told y'all you can't just use the class or just use the book to get all the answers. You have to become a well-rounded student. And it's good that you all are thinking about, you know, the physical qualities and everything of the animal. But, you know, she did do a show on the Zodiac.
I didn't catch the show.
And I think I've said this before in this show, because somebody else has asked that question too.
Yeah, I didn't catch the show. I'm pretty sure you did, but I was just thinking.
I'm telling you did.
Yeah, I know what I'm saying. I didn't know what show it was, but I was just trying to see if I could use like the process of elimination when it comes to dealing with something I don't know. Like, what if it's something that she ain't gave a show on yet? And which I highly doubt. But, you know, when you get offered... There isn't
anything in phase 1 that's covered that he has not covered in the show.
Oh, okay.
And I just gave you the answer. Listen to the show on the Zodiac.
Oh, okay.
And in fact, it's titled Zodiac in astrology.
Okay.
Gotta listen to the shows. Remember, I kept saying, go back to the very first show. Go back to the very first one, especially the Orisha heavy shows. All right.
I don't know. I guess I'm kind of like, I don't know. I like to try to figure stuff out on my own first, because it wasn't coming to me at all. I was want to see if
fine.
You know, I'm glad you said
but you have to use all your resources though.
Okay.
You're right.
Yeah. Think about that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go back to that show though, because I really want to know that.
Okay. All right. Let me go. Let's see. We got a couple more callers with their hands up. This is 864. 864.
Greetings, everyone. It's Pedro.
Greetings, Pedro.
Pedro.
Hey, man. I was hearing, you know, y'all was trying to find out about that Capricorn. So, Kim done gave the initiative to go watch the Zodiac show. So, I guess I shouldn't say nothing. I was gonna give a little hint myself, but
Go ahead, help them out. That's what y'all are supposed to be doing in the forums anyway. The students are supposed to be talking amongst themselves and helping each other out.
Well, I know Capricorn is the planet aligned with it is Saturn.
Right.
Okay.
So, to me, with the energy I know that connects to Saturn, it's just a hint. But it might, I can't even give that hint because it'll give it away. Darn, man.
Give the hint, man. Give the hint.
I said, okay, then. Over the disease. The disease.
Oh, okay. I already know that. I know. And that was one of the Orishas, too, that I seen as far as the list of Orishas that was associated with Capricorn. But I know what you're talking about now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about now. Appreciate you, Pedro.
Word. Come through. That's what I do. I try to come through for the squad, and we got to rep hard. It's the new men. We got to rep.
Don't cheat yourself though. Go back and still listen to that show.
I am. I'm still gonna go through it because I want to know, all of it. But I was just really, really stumped on that one. But yeah, I appreciate you, family.
No problem, man.
Are you a Capricorn, Pedro?
Nah, I'm a Sagittarius.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but just a reminder to everybody, you can't find all the answers just in the material that's in the class. You still have to do a little research and use those shows. Use the shows. There's tons of information in those shows. And I guarantee you there's nothing in phase 1 of the training that you can't find in the shows or in the book or whatever. All the resources that you have available to you, you should be able to find everything. Yeah. All right, let me go to another caller here. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was just about to say a joke, but it's cool. All good. Go ahead.
817.
I was about to get... okay, go ahead.
817. Greetings.
Family.
Peace, family. How you doing?
Peace. And Pedro. I was just calling to help you guys out, but Pedro and Kim already said what it is I was going to say, so I mean, it's not really much I can say now, because Capricorn came up for me as well, so I had to listen to the show and figure out what it was, so I was going to kind of help out with that, but Pedro pretty much said what I was going to say.
Oh, yeah.
Good. So you got two fellow students there to help you out. That's what it's all about. Got to help each other out. You can't always get the answers from the teacher. You got to work together. Everybody's going through it together, so it's really good to help each other out,
Right. And I appreciate the family for that. I appreciate y'all for that.
Yeah. Let me bring Dietrich back in. He had a little noise earlier. Dietrich, you're back in.
Okay, yeah. I was just listening. I'm like, okay. I'm glad that they gave me the idea because I knew what Saturn stood for.
Are you gonna tell us you knew what it was?
No, I said I knew that the planet that governed it was Saturn. Mm-hmm. I just didn't know how it would tie in because I was completely off the mark. But I know what it is now. You got Saturn and the Earth element. So I couldn't say no more. I just got to go listen to the program. But I was just trying to figure out if I could figure it out on my own. Yeah. Before I was told what it was,
That's good. It's good to try to sit back and analyze, the information that you have. Yeah. Anwar, you about to say something before I went to Sequoia? Are you still there? I think it's called drop.
Yes, I'm here, and I'm sitting talking, and I was on mute.
Oh, okay.
Nah, I was just gonna give a shout out to the Sagittarius. You know we run this, and you can't brush it off like that, Kim. We said, okay.
Yeah.
What's that? Trip?
Shoot the arrows up.
Shoot the arrows up.
Yeah, but you gotta use those shows, everybody, not just the book. Yeah. Definitely back and find the information. Like I said, if you have to start from the first show, because the first show I think it was on the Ori, or I think it was on the Ori, or just and the Ori and your spirit, I think it was. But go back to the very first show. All those shows are on the Enlightenment and Transformation channel. You can find it under Enlightenment and Transformation and Anu Nation. If you go to Anu Nation, a lot of those old shows are there too. And I think there are a few on Orisha Yoruba as well. So they're kind of split up between the channels, but you will find the answers that you need. You know. So don't be afraid to search for it. But you do have your fellow students there to help you along too. So that's why the forum is there to kind of to talk to each other and pass those answers around, or whatever your experience may be. How many of you have actually finished the first exercise?
I have.
Everybody's finished with the first one?
Yeah, I did that one already.
Mm-hmm. What was something memorable, without giving away everything, what was something memorable for you about that first exercise?
The quiz.
What was it about the quiz?
Man, he had that thing worded up so kind of, you know, he worded it to where you really had to pay attention to what he was saying. Yeah. And I ain't gonna lie, I had to take this thing like 3 times because I kept getting like 7 and 8 out of 12 or whatever. So I finally aced that thing.
Yeah, because you know what? That's the thing. It's not, remember, you're trying to get your African mind back. So he's trying to make sure that you fully understand what was being said. So it's not like high school where you can go back and find the exact sentence and fill in the blanks, and boom, there's your answer. It doesn't work like that. Yeah. You got to remember, you're dealing with somebody that used to work in the school system, so he knows all the tricks.
Right.
Mm-hmm. It's not going to be that easy.
I do, like, if I get stumbled on a question, I actually have gone back onto when I'm taking the test. I did mess up the first time and had to take it like 3-4 times. Mm-hmm. But like, I've noticed that I'll sit there and just kind of really take notes of the classes. You know, I'm a pretty good note taker. I take notes all the time, especially even for the regular shows. I got a composition book I write all my notes to for most of the shows. Mm-hmm. And like I said, that first I think it was like 10 questions. 10 questions. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it's just like those 10 questions they weren't. You need to know what you're talking about to answer those questions. They weren't.
Yeah.
There weren't no easy. You're gonna pass as easy questions.
Right.
I had to write down the questions that I did miss and put it in that sent.
Mm-hmm. And go back and listen to the lecture and stuff again.
Yeah.
Reread the notes. Yeah. Yep. So what else was memorable about it?
The accuracy of it.
The what?
The accuracy of it.
Oh, okay.
Like, it was,
in what way?
It was just accurate. It's hard for me to say without giving it away, but it was extremely accurate. Down to
you talking about in what you saw?
What it did. I'm gonna make a long story short. You get what you ask for. That's all I'm gonna say.
Mm. Did it startle you?
No, it didn't startle me.
Okay.
But it took me a while to realize. I'm like, wait a minute. Down to the last. I'm like, okay, I realized at that point, I realized I have to be careful what I want. Because you will get it. You will get it. And the funny thing about it is when I used to listen to the show walking to work, and I had manifested what I had been looking for on the way to work, walking the same place. So just put it like this: just be very, very, very careful and conscious of what you ask for, because you will get it. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay. I wanted to. I was gonna ask if you when you ask for something and it don't manifest, then are you supposed to do that exercise every single day and ask the same question every day until it manifests?
I would suggest to do it when you feel it. Like you don't really want to make that a chore, because that's how it works. Like don't expect nothing, just see what happens. Like the thing about what I really can appreciate about this training program, it makes you pay attention to what you're doing every day. Like it's not nothing that you just it's not like you're not ordering a pizza. You have to really pay attention to what happens. And it didn't dawn on me that I had got what I wanted until maybe I want to say 6 months later. And it was that accurate, and I had manifested and didn't realize it. So like you gotta when you do the class, pay attention to what happens to you before, after, and during you do it, because that way you can document the change in your grimoire or just in your notes. That's how I look at that.
Well, what I ended up doing is taking that thing, the concept, and thinking of it being a spiritual representative of my Ori. And since then, whenever I get in meditations, I'm sitting in front of him. You know what I'm saying? He's sitting with me. I have that visual that I received during that thing. So I'm charged every time I get into a meditation. I charge that energy, even though I haven't seen what I asked him to do manifest. But I'm charging that energy because I'm working towards that manifestation. So.
Okay.
That's what I was gonna say too. I was gonna say, like meditate with it, because I think it'll be something that we do down the line anyway. For it again, because you're supposed to keep that one item. So I would say the same thing I want to say, just meditate on it. And for anybody that haven't done it, I would say, like you say, just do something that's doable. Don't make it too technical. So that way, you can meditate for the harder stuff or something like that,
Yeah. How many of you were afraid of the first assignment? Was anybody afraid?
Oh, I wasn't.
Okay.
No, not really. I was embracing it. I was ready for it.
Yeah.
I had to do it twice.
It's to me, it's a new experience. So it was like, I really didn't look at it as a fear aspect. It's like, you already down and out. The only way you can go is up. So ain't get no worse than that. So.
Right. And then it didn't take as long as I thought it did. Like, it didn't take as long as I thought it was. It was once I got into it, I was in there about 2.5 hours.
That was actually my problem. My biggest problem was sitting there for an hour and a half. I had to work my way up. I did like 30 minutes the first time and about 45 the second, and then I finally did 2 and 15.
Why did it take you so long? I mean, why was that hard?
The first two times I did it, and I was like really dead tired. I was working all day, and I just was tired, and then I ended up falling asleep after 30 minutes, and then I did the same thing the second time, falling asleep after 45, and then just keeping the focus on it. That was another issue I was having, focusing on just that, being in that space. I had taken the meditation meditation class too. I purchased that when I purchased the thing, so I knew I was going to need some help on it. So I bought that while I did the whole process. So I went through it and listened to that meditation webinar, and that helped me out a lot too. Because then I was able to get into a space that I needed to be in. So
yeah, that's important that you don't go into your rituals tired. You know, that's something that I've talked about too on a previous show, that you have got to be like, get ready, like your energy and your ashe or whatever needs to be up, because you never know how long it's going to take, which is why you include, you know, there's always singing or dancing or chanting and, you know, all these things, because you're trying to raise that vibration. You're trying to raise that energy. So you definitely don't want to go into a ritual just, you know, tired. So if you can take that away just from the first exercise, that's a huge lesson going forward. Don't do these exercises when you're tired and you can't focus.
Yeah, I add some herbs and stuff anyway. Uh-oh.
Oops. But the thing that I really remember most was seeing myself, because I felt like I seen myself for the first time. Because I was accustomed to dark room meditations. I used to do like I still back in the days I was doing like midnight like full moon new moon meditations in my room in the dark, and I had no candle or nothing like that. It just straight me, dark room, windows open, just dark. But when the instruments that when we put those instruments inside of what we did in the class, I never did that before, using those two instruments. And that's when it was like, wow, I was amazed. I actually started laughing at one point. I was laughing with myself, giggling. So, but that's just me. So, but it was cool. It was an experience. I enjoyed it.
Good.
I actually got excited when I seen
you got
it.
Excited?
Like, when I seen it, like when I was sitting there and I seen it and it started to, you know, shift a little bit, I was like, oh shoot, I'm doing something, you know, like, I didn't want to lose focus, but I was like, oh shoot, it's happening, like, you know, like the kind of feeling you get when, you know, you in a plane and you about to take off and you know, just kind of, you know, excited, like, you know, that's the kind of feeling that I have, you know.
Okay. Okay.
I ain't gonna lie, buddy. I ain't gonna lie. When I first started it, I had to work the nerve. Bro. I'm like, man, look, I hope you can control whatever, you know. That's what I was nervous about. I'm like, okay, let's just keep it under control. And then once I realized what it was, I'm like, okay, I can. And then it just flows together seamlessly, and it's something that I use kind of frequent. But I like the analogy that Brother Armar said. It kind of put me on the path of what I was already thinking, but now I know exactly what it is. But my biggest fear was like, man, is this something I can even, you know,
something you can handle? Yeah.
Can I control it? That's what I want to know, because I know my imagination is pretty like crazy. So it's just I've been having them dreams. My dreams be, you know, my dreams be so vivid that I wake up tired still. It's that bad. Yeah. So I'm like, man, I hope I ain't waking up an aspect of me that I can't put back to sleep.
Okay.
Did anybody see any different colors or anything?
I did.
Yeah, I saw like 4 different colors.
Yeah, I've seen things just like fluctuate. I've seen things fluctuate, like not just with fluctuating with the image, but or like I guess the aura moving across the room. It was just similar to the motions of the candle. That's what I kind of put two together right now. But it was, I could just see the light kind of change, change color.
Well, make sure you all are recording what you're finding. You know, don't forget to write it down. Let me bring in this last caller. We're about to go in the archives, everybody. So just hang on. Bringing this last caller to 703. 703.
Hey everybody.
Greetings.
This is Joel. Peace.
What's up, Joel? Peace, bro.
What's going on? Yeah, peace to everybody on the line. I was in the job, and I had to run out, man. me and Anwar was talking about this actually, and I'm a little bit out of breath. I had to run down flash there.
Oh, you literally ran.
But,
okay.
Yeah, I literally ran because I was like, man, this is something to share. Like, with my experience, I felt like how Anwar felt. Like, I felt familiar again. Like I haven't looked at myself, you know, in so long, and I felt like I felt instantly connected. And I did see not a lot of colors. I did see a little bit of colors, but mostly whenever I was in the gaze of my own gaze, you know, if that makes sense, just looking into my own eyes. Whenever I started to meditate on the thing that I was, you know, asking the entity to do, I noticed that whenever I would totally just zone out, the image of myself would fade away. And then whenever I would get distracted, it would come back again.
Right.
And that slightly kind of spooked me out, but then I knew that I was doing something inside of me just was saying, like, okay, you're doing the right thing. Just keep doing that. And once I got into the mode, I felt like Pedro. I was in there for a minute, and I actually fell asleep there, and I just slept there after the time, and I woke up in the morning looking crazy, bug out, and like, oh man, let me get up and do what I gotta do. But it did feel good. I felt one with myself, and I felt the feeling that I just haven't felt in a long time, because you're doing so much, you're always on the go, and I'm always, you know, around different, you know, groups of people. So for me to just spend some time with myself was very intimate in a way. So yeah, I just wanted to say that. And all right, guys.
Okay.
All right.
Hey, bro.
Thank you for contributing.
I had a quick.
All right,
Thank you for the run, man. Thank you for the run. We appreciate it.
No problem. All right.
Hey, I just want to put a reminder out, man. We're all giving good testimonials. Please submit your video testimony.
Yeah. You can, and by the way, you can submit it you can make a video, or you can do, some people don't like to be on camera, you can send in audio, just put it in the form of an MP3, or you can write about it. Make sure you contribute, because you never know how it can help somebody else out.
Oh, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I got a quick question for the panel.
All right.
Did y'all see it, or did y'all hear it first?
I actually didn't hear anything, but I've seen it.
I saw it.
That's crazy, because I had to, because they ain't gonna lie, that was what shocked me into it. I had heard it, and I'm looking around, I'm like, wait a minute, ain't nobody in here but me. So that's when it kind of clicked. I'm like, oh, I get it. But yeah, I hear stuff before I see stuff. I just was curious if anybody else was like that, or what that meant if you hear before you see it.
I have the experience. I have the experience from my past, and now that whenever I get into a real meditation, I start hearing a real low, high frequency vibration. So I'm not sure if that's what you mean. I've seen it first because my eyes were open, but that could have been something that you kind of brought something to light for me. That I recognize that whenever I get in my meditations, I get into this, I start hearing this very low frequency or a high frequency, depending on, I guess, where I'm at and what time of day I'm going through.
Well, I'll share a little bit. I actually did hear something, Dietrich, and it came in the form of a song. And so at first, it completely caught me off guard. I was like, oh, okay. And then the song got a little louder and a little louder, and then it kind of made me know who it was or what to name it. And I'm not gonna get too into it to give it away, but yeah, I heard and saw.
That's crazy because see, I was studying NLP, and I was starting to kind of like put one and two together. Like this was like almost a year after I did that. But I like I said, I like to like meditating for like I think that's scrying. We were scrying until I can't say that, but what we were doing, like I have a tendency not to trust what I see because like especially when it comes to images, because I'm such a creative person that I'll have an image in my mind and I don't know where it's coming from, and like one person was saying and I'll see something else. So like I was trying to make sure I wasn't creating something to be there. I wanted to like make sure that's what it was. That's why I was like listening more so than I was just watching. Like I kind of like, I don't want to say too much without giving it away.
But everything is a projection of your own mind. So it makes no difference in what somebody else sees. It's what do you see?
See, that's terrible. It's terrible because like I said, I really need to start, and I think this has a lot to do with me. When I stopped drawing, I got to get back to drawing because I be seeing so much stuff, and and I be coming up with so much stuff, and I be like, man, you kind of losing it a little bit. But now that I see what it is, it's starting to make a little bit more sense now. Cause like I said, my dreams keep me up at night to the point where I wake up tired. So I just be like, if anybody else is like that.
Dietrich, I'm gonna give you some of the advice you gave me. Since you gave me this advice, I've completed 13. I put 13 songs on an album that I'm gonna put out sometime in March. But go back to drawing, man. Get back into that hobby, man. Enjoy that. That's how you're gonna get connected with yourself. It helped me out. You feel me? So
I'm gonna have to
put that.
Man,
do it.
Thanks for that. I'm gonna have to.
Yep. One quick question. What's the best way to keep your Obi coconut in particular?
Well, I use the Obi, the Anu Obi set. I don't use the coconut, but I have used the coconut before. I will put it in some spring water, but I didn't use it.
Put it in the fridge?
No, I put it on my altar or whatever, but I started using too many coconuts. So I was like, you know what, let me just get a new Obi set. So I did that.
Yeah, soon. Definitely.
Yeah. All right, so we've come to the end of the show. Anybody have any last words or any other questions?
Has anybody been having crazy dreams the past week?
I've been having dreams since November. So yeah.
What was can I ask what was the main theme of your dream?
Death.
Because that's kind of been like the theme of my dream for the past week.
What, death?
Well, something trying to kill me, and my stupid self showing them how to do it.
Mine has been like situations with women. It's funny that you say that. It's been like women issues. Like literally, a lot of even the dream last night, I know it had to do with a few of the women I know. So it's like, and it's not like sexual dreams. It's like situational things. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I've been having
make sure you write it down.
I honestly, I think it's just I think it's just a projection of me not having like I'm talking to a woman right now, but not having someone in the household with me. So that could be another thing. That anyway.
Yeah. Make sure you write those dreams down. So
One more thing, this Dwayne, when you got your new Obi set, did you have to do anything specific to infuse your Ashe into the or does it when it comes to your house, or you could just go ahead and divine with it like as soon as you take it out the box, or do you have to do some things to put your own Ashe in?
Yeah, I talked about this. Yeah, I talked about this once before on the show. You can use them as soon as you get them, but if you go back to the book, before you use them, there's some things that you have to do to them before you start to divine with them as well. So there's some adores and things that you have to say. But for me, what I did is I just kind of kept them close to me all the time. So like when I would go to sleep at night or whatever, I'll either slip them under my pillow or put it right beside my bed. I just try to, or just even when I'm like, if I was just idle, sitting up reading or doing some work or whatever, I just kind of keep them in my hands or move them around in my hands. Sometimes I would meditate with them or whatever, just to try to get, like you said, fuse my energy with it or whatever, get to know, to kind of charge it a little bit, yeah.
Okay, thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
Maybe.
I keep mine on my issue. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you can, and of course, I keep it on my altar as well. Now, that I've used them so much, but I keep it on my altar too. But yeah, I don't see anything wrong with having it on your person, for a while, just to kind of get used to them, especially when you're going to be divining with them on a daily basis. Because that was one of the assignments to cast daily for like 30 days. You know what I mean? And that helps you get your energy, kind of fuse your energy with it too. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
So if you guys aren't signed up for the course, go to SabilaHouse.com and sign up for the course. You can have testimonials like us, the crazy bunch, the crazy male Andrew the man out Andrew in the house, in the building. The crazy
yeah, make sure you go to SabilaHouse.com, check out Our New Life Global, and we'll be back tomorrow. Remember, tomorrow's Wednesday, so we'll be live from 9 to 11 p.m. All right, same number and everything. So I will speak with you all tomorrow. Enjoy your day.